Yeah, that's what I want to talk to you about is your everyday all day, because it has to be insane. Yeah, we've already started, by the way.
We're starting. Good. I love it.
Yeah, this is how we roll on. It's just a conversation. I haven't seen you since we did the Greg Gutfeld show together. Probably, maybe almost a year, maybe? It's been a while.
Who knows? Yeah, something like that.
So, okay, as if everyone who doesn't know whom I'm talking to today, but maybe they don't know how much you do. Because I guess the easy thing is to sit here and grill you with a bunch of questions about your father-in-law, but I just don't want to do that because your story is amazing. I mean, we can talk about some stuff, but especially with the attacks on women this year, then recently everyone freaked out because someone gave thanks to his wife for loving motherhood and being a mother. And I just, when I found out I was getting a chance to interview you, I was like, I can't wait to talk to her about those things because you embody all of those things, but it's never talked about in the press. Like, why is being virtuous, old school, a great power mom, a power businesswoman, a power wife, why don't we celebrate and talk about that more? Why is there never anything about your father-in-law? All his children have families, they're business people, but we never read about anybody being dragged out of a club at 3, 4 in the morning or any off-the-field issues. How stressful is that for you in terms of the fact that everything you do is being watched, but never talked about because you're not doing anything that fits the narrative?
Yeah, well, to your point, I think we all try to conduct ourselves in the Trump family with a certain modicum of respect for the fact that at one time, and I believe in the future, we were, and I think will be again, part of the first family of the United States. For me personally, though, I'll tell you, it's been a wild ride. I mean, I grew up, Tyrus, I think like probably most Americans did. I grew up in a smaller town in North Carolina. I went to public school my whole life. My parents were small business owners, and I had everything I ever needed, but not everything I ever wanted growing up. And I think I can probably relate in a lot of ways to pretty much the average American out there. I can tell you never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine my last name would ultimately be Trump one day and that I would be part of a family like this. But as soon as I started dating Eric, even well before politics became a part of our lives, I was very aware that there was a certain level of interest in, someone with a last name like Trump. And so I always wanted to be respectful of that and conduct myself accordingly when I was in public. But I think one of the things that ultimately impressed me the most about the Trump family is, despite the fact that I was some true outsider, because I grew up in a very middle-class family in North Carolina, and I really had nothing I could relate to the Trump family, business mogul Donald Trump, a reality TV star Donald Trump, and a very wealthy, affluent family like that. I really didn't have much I could relate to them on, except for the fact that they all had a great work ethic in the Trump family. And that's something I truly respected from the very beginning. And I think it's a little bit of kind of what you're alluding to right now. For me, I think that the reason we don't hear more about propping up moms and women who literally go out there every day, they kick ass as a mom, they kick ass as a wife, they kick ass as a businesswoman or whatever they're doing in their respective industries, is because there really does seem to be some crazy attempt for whatever reason to really break apart the nuclear family. And instead of focusing on the fact that when you have a two-parent home, that is such a good thing for children. You look at homes where the father is not present, the kids are more likely to use drugs, they're less likely to graduate, they're less likely to go to college, they're more likely to end up in jail or prison. And so you look at that as a whole and you say, wow, why aren't we doing everything possible to talk about how great it is for kids to be raised by two parents? Both of those parents likely work these days because it's hard not to have that in the United States right now. But I think we should hear more about that. So thanks for the accolades. I do have a lot of jobs, mom, wife, co-chair of the RNC. I have a podcast. I have this
fitness
crazy
guru
singing thing I've been doing. It's crazy. Yeah. I try to do it all.
Yeah. Hey, people who don't know, you are a monster in the gym. Take it from a monster in the gym. You are a monster in the gym.
Thanks,
but I have to.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I have to ask though, how did you and Eric meet? Like, what's the origin story? Because You come from this, he comes from that. I know this. I'm sure you were given a list of all kinds of political questions today, but like, I'm just curious because you guys are cool. Eric's cool. He's quiet. You both have presidents, but you're not like blah, 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 blah. You know, how did you guys meet? That's what I want to know.
Tyrus, it's one of those things that you're like, when does that ever work out? We literally were both out in New York at the same place at the same time. And by the way, I have to give credit to my first roommate when I first moved to New York. By the way, I knew no one when I moved to New York City. I literally drove myself from North Carolina to New York, totally alone with all my stuff packed in my car, crying the whole way because that was really my first time, aside from college, living away from anyone I ever knew. And my first roommate, Marielle, had a friend in town this one particular night. And I was in pajamas. I was ready to have like a movie night. I wasn't going out. And she begged me, please go out. Will you please come out? My friend's in town. And I got to say thank you to Marielle, because had she not forced me out that night, I never would have met my husband, the father of my kids. And who knows, Tyrus, what I'd be doing right now or where I'd be. So we met out one night, and to be honest with you, I had no idea that there was a guy named Eric Trump that even existed in the world. As you know,
nobody did.
Being in person with me. Yeah, nobody did. I'm a very tall drink of water at 5'11", and when I put heels on, it's more like 6'3". Eric is 6'5", and I was like, I don't know this guy. I could get down with this. This guy's taller than me in heels, so it could work out. I don't know. And here we are.
Well, you know, on behalf of all the big, tall guys everywhere, good job, Eric. Way to step up. Way to bring it home.
Yeah, he really did. He got that one
okay.
right.
I have to, and I made the fitness stuff because on top, how much is it? Because the mental strain's got to be enormous because you just can't go to the grocery store, or if you are playing with it's the entire world you're part of the world conversation right now, whether you want to be or not. But you prioritize, that's how I would best describe you. You prioritize everything at a high level. And I know that when you're physically fit and you're mentally fit and you're eating right, it's a lot easier to handle stress. And do you push that mentality with your kids too? Because you'll see a lot of jack fitness moms and little chubby kids walking behind them. Like, they do the thing, but then they spoil the babies. Hey, we keep it real here. So
yeah,
is it all phases? Is it all phases that you do that with the kids too? Or they got their little regimen, or you?
Oh, my kids, let me tell you something. My kids, from the time they wake up in the morning to the time they go to bed at night, are constantly moving. And obviously some of it, you have to make choices as a parent. You got to make decisions for them as a parent. These kids come home from school, they change clothes, and they go to a sport, and they go from that sport to another sport and another after school activity. They never stop moving, but they also, what I found, they just got out of school. So we've been out for a little over a week now. All they want to do is come to the gym with me, go for a bike ride with me. My son, I can't get him off a basketball court. He's 6 years old. Wait for it. Y'all think Barron's something in the height department. Wait for Luke Trump. He might show out. I don't know. You never know what could happen. So they're learning, I think, by example as well, because you're right. They see me prioritize these things. Even if I got to wake up, Tyrus, at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes to fit something in, I will do it because it is that vital to my schedule and my way of being. And I think part of the reason that I'm able to handle all the craziness and chaos out there is really because of my fitness regimen. I use that time. That's a one time of the day. And everybody out there who works out and kind of religiously knows this. It's one time of the day. You're not dealing with anybody. You're not dealing with anything else. You're dealing with yourself. And I think about things in those moments. And I really, that's my stress reliever. And that's the time that I really get down deep and think about some of this crazy stuff going on. And I take it out on the gym. I take it out on the bike. I take it out on the road, however I got to do it. And it really keeps me sane. So my kids are learning by example from both of their parents, honestly, because Eric hits the gym as well.
No, let me ask you this. When you put your prioritize, like your top of all the hats you wear, what would you consider is like your greatest accomplishment? Is it motherhood?
Oh.
Is it the career? Is it, just the marriage? Like, how would you rate it? Like,
yeah, this is the easiest one you'll ask me. Being a mom, that's the number one. I mean, look, there are a lot of things I do. I'm honored to do it. Had you asked me, even a year ago, would I ever be the co-chair of the RNC? I would have said probably not. And I take these jobs very seriously, and I do them to 100% of my ability, make no mistake. The most important job, and the job that I prioritize the most out of all of them, is, of course, being a mom. I have the ability to influence two human beings and shape their lives. And that, I mean, you don't get any better than that. Who gets to say they do that? Obviously, every parent out there. But I don't think we all really understand in the moments when things are tough, when I get it, it's hard to make it all the things work together. I will always put my kids first, always, every single time, because I don't think there's anything more important or anything more lasting. You know, it's great to have a legacy. You did X, Y, and Z. But when you have two great humans to turn out on the other side of that, that's what I will be the most proud of.
You know, and it took me personally a long time to understand the significance of what it is to be a father. You know, and my background's a little different. I grew up without one present, so I kind of learned on the job. But if you look at like all the championships and whatever, or the TV shows or whatever the heck, you know, I just recently, I did a show, my first stand-up show in Vegas, and I didn't realize that I was on top of the hotel. Like all the heroes, I was like Richard Pryor and those guys, like, oh my, I'm in Vegas.
Wow.
And I'm on the thing. But the only thing I was really worried about was if I was going to make FaceTime to play Fortnite with my kids, because I was spending outside too much time staring at the sign. Because for a minute, it's like, oh man, I did it. But I was like, oh, Dad, I got to go. And we don't celebrate that enough. And I think if we talk about it more, if more parents that are finding success are actually praised for it or talking about it, I think the more we have conversations with people, whether how we vote, don't vote, doesn't really matter. But when it comes to parenting, I think when you see someone successful, we should share that knowledge, because I think everyone feels that way with very few exceptions. I think, what would you rather be known for? Being a awesome businessman or an amazing dad? I got to be honest with you. I'd rather be an amazing dad, because no one's going to remember the business side, or, you know, there'll be another comedian, there'll be another big jack tatted, well, maybe not at Fox, but there will be somebody that comes by that eventually beats me out, because you can't stay on TV forever. But, you know, but I want to be like my grandkids, not people watching me on YouTube from 50 years ago. So it's refreshing that, you know, that's your thing. Do you see yourself taking this? Because you are a leader. From the first time I met you on being on the show and stuff, I just said, wow, she is a leader. Do you have any aspirations? Do you think about Governor Trump, or why not President Trump? I mean, do you think about those things? Because you have the resume.
Wow. Well, that's very nice. Thank you. They make it so nice for all of us in the Trump family politics. So it's such a treat, such an easy path for all of us.
I was trying to keep a straight face while I asked it. But,
yeah, it's crazy. Tyrus, it's a mess. I mean, it's all a mess. And the sad thing is that because things have escalated to such a level, it really deters good people, I think, from actually running for political office, because people are like, why would I want to put myself through this? I mean, my God, look at what they're doing, obviously, to my father-in-law, and we are all sort of collateral damage. Whatever they can throw at us, they always try to. Don't kid yourself. I would never say never to anything. I will say that I right now I have one focus on one election and one person getting in one office, and very clearly that's my father-in-law becoming the 47th president. I would never say never to anything, but it is a tough sell, I think, right now to anybody in my family, seeing the links.
Oh, not just your family. Not just your family. My wife straight up told me, because I get asked a lot, like, hey, 2028, Tyrus, you know, hey, you should be this, you should be that. And she was like, no, you will not. You think they're after you now. So you're like, because it's not just you, it's your entire family.
Right.
You know,
that's
right. And that's what bothers me so much, is that, because you just made a great point. Like, you guys literally are squeaky clean, and I don't need stats to back it up, because if you weren't, we'd all know about it. And you have to maintain. This is the best show for you ever to be on, maintaining, because you have to maintain a high level of, you are always on the job, whether you want to be or not. And there has to be moments. Obviously, I don't want to give you your secrets away, but there has to be. Do you have certain things where how do you keep the blinders? Because I keep blinders on my kids. Like, my kids don't see a lot of my shows and stuff, or I don't allow them to watch a lot of news. I don't let them. I monitor everything. We don't have a lot of technology in my house. My kids play outside. It's
Good for you.
crazy
Yeah,
concept.
I
Yeah.
subscribe to the same thing my dad did, which is I don't care what you do, but get outside. You can't be inside.
Yeah,
It's
10
outside all
o'clock
the time.
Saturday
Yeah.
morning, goodbye. I don't want to hear you,
Out.
see you. The only thing
Yeah.
I don't make them do anymore is drink out of the hose like I had to because, well, the water's not phenomenal. But I will give them
I
a
think
couple
my kids
water
did that
bottles.
yesterday, but that's all right.
Get out. Yeah, no, I tried to prove a point. I just moved. I moved the whole family to New Jersey. We have a farm in New Jersey now from Louisiana, and because dad was traveling so much, and to your point, both my daughters ride equestrian now. They're English
Oh,
riders,
I
and
love it.
my 10-year-old's getting ready for her first competition, and I didn't realize that I had to get a second job, i.e., this, to
Oh
pay
yeah.
for. Yeah, no one told me that.
Congratulations, Tyrus.
Oh yeah, leased my first horse. So if you have any odd jobs around the house, please let me know. I am available. And then my son's playing in 67 different travel ball baseball leagues. So
My
it's like all
gosh.
these. And my daughter's like horseback riding's new, soccer, gymnastics, and of course all of them are aspiring comedians and TV personalities. They're not that good.
Of course they are.
But they're my kids and I love them. But we keep things grounded. How tough is that for you though? Because I've met the fam in passing. They are not like, hey, what it is, hey, security. You know what I mean? They're not blinging it up. How do you keep them so grounded with all the noise around you? Because everywhere they go, as soon as people find out who their family is, it's got to be like, camera phones or can I take a picture? Like, how do you manage all of that with your kids to keep them children like yourself?
Well, I mean, I'm sort of lucky at this point. My kids are young enough that they don't fully appreciate all of what's going on. They're 4 and 6 right now. My son, my 6-year-old, is starting to kind of understand it. They both understand that grandpa was president and that they see him on TV a lot. They see mom on TV and dad on TV. And for them, they've kind of grown up like that. So it's nothing new or different. I don't know if they ever asked their friends, like, do your parents go on TV? Is this happening? But, I think that they're not going to be able to escape it. So I think whenever they have questions, we answer those questions as honestly as we can. And I've been fortunate enough that we haven't had a whole lot of them so far. The biggest question that I get is about traveling because I have to travel a lot right now for the next 5 months, certainly for this election cycle. And I'll be honest, I've bribed my kids with Disney World. They get very upset when I leave. And I'm like, okay, I know you guys want to go to Disney. I have not yet been, and I've done everything possible, Tyrus, not to go. But they know when November 6th rolls around, guess what we're going to do? We're going to Disney World. So that's really been the most pressing matter for them thus far. And I'm very lucky that has been it. But certainly in the future, I'm sure we'll have more.
Why don't you like to go to Disney World?
Oh, you know what? I
don't go either.
Up in my head to be. Yeah, it's a little much. There's a lot going on there. There's a.
I don't mind. I absolutely. So listen, Disney adults grow up. Okay. I don't fit in the rides anyways. I don't like the rides. My knees always get jammed, and I don't get a moment's rest. But ironically, I have to make deals as well. And I have a comedy tour all on top of everything else. The family actually right now, my wife and my daughters are leaving today as we speak to go to Disney because my daughters love Disney and I'm not going to.
You got out of it, it looks like.
I always get out of it. But you know how I have to get out of it though? I have to pay for the VIP
the fast pass thing.
No, the other one. The nasty one. The one that like they drive you up to each ride and you can ride as long as you want to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, send me the info.
I will. It's rough. You don't want to know, but at least but no one ever says, "Hey, Dad, when you coming anymore?" Because they're like, "Dad, are we getting the line thing?" And I'm like,
yeah, they know what you're good for. They're like, we know. Dad will hook us up with this.
I would rather lose money than. And again, it ain't nothing against Disney. I just don't like amusement parks. People.
There's a lot.
It's the people at the thing I don't like.
There's a lot going on there. So all else equal, I'd probably rather not. But for my children, obviously, it's time. We're going to do it. They'll be 5 and 7 at that point. I feel like we can handle
Oh
it.
yeah, because everything's
I'll
cool.
report back.
Everything's cool at that point. See, mine are
Yeah.
10 and 12. My 9-year-old just turned 10, and she pulled me aside, like, Dad, I need to talk to you. And I was like, what? And she's the baby, and I'm not ready for the baby to not be a baby, because and she's like, listen, I'm double digits now. You're gonna have to ease up. Okay, like it's time.
She gave you a talking to.
Yeah, she's like, hey, like sometimes I want to play with my friends. You don't always have to be there. Like, it's not personal.
No.
I was just like, because I'm used to coming home through the door. Like when I come home, because I'm on the road a lot. When I come home, it used to be running, Dad. Now it's, sup?
I know.
And it hurts. See, you still got it. You still got it. Enjoy it while you got it, because it goes quick, man. And so, yeah, they're going to Disney World.
That's why I always have dogs. I'll always have dogs, Tyrus, because they'll always run up to me no matter what.
I'm still working on the dog thing. I want a dog. I'm hopelessly outnumbered right now. We just added another Mancoon cat. Yeah, a lot of people, I don't know if they know, you're an animal nut like I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now we have 3 Mancoon cats whom I hate.
Wow.
They're very dog-like, but I'm mad because I don't have a dog, and they walk around parading around with their cats all the time, and it just drives me insane. It's nothing personal against the cat. It's just hypocrisy at the highest level. The cat can jump on the table and will try to look for food, and I'll hear, oh, she's so cute. And if I had a dog or anything walk by the table, like, get him out of here. He's disgusting. I'm like, how is this fair? And then, of course, I have my monsters and my reptiles and my fish and all that stuff. But there's nothing like a dog. And you and Judge Janine have that a lot in common when it comes to dogs. Although I think Judge Janine is the undisputed queen of dogs because she takes her dogs to the hair salon. I don't know if you go that far.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have time.
That's another level. None of my dogs really need grooming, so I'm pretty much in good shape with that. But when you're ready for a dog, Tyrus, I will tell you this: whenever you finally convince the whole crew at your house,
there's just one. Maybe you could help. Okay. There's just one.
Okay.
And that's Ingrid, and you guys are very similar, except she doesn't like dogs. But I'm working on that.
I will be here to help, and I have a great dog rescue in Florida that will help you with the dog whenever you're ready.
See, I think that's why I keep going wrong, is I want puppies. But if I have a seasoned veteran,
you can rescue a puppy.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying. I think that's I think puppies are what ruin it for me. I think if once the dog is established, without the housebreaking and all the other kind of stuff, then I'm. But man, I just love puppies. You know what it is? I'm going through the men's and alpha males sensitivity thing. Like I just turned 50, and all of a sudden I'm realizing that all the babies that used to crawl on me and call me daddy and stuff aren't doing it anymore. And now I'm looking for something, but when I have another child,
baby.
Yeah, right. Yeah, with my schedule, good luck. Like I want to be there, and by the time I'll retire, probably never. So I won't. I just miss the little stuff.
A canine baby. A canine baby.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. Probably the way to go. All right, so let me flip sides for you, because I guess I have to ask a couple questions. I guess your father-in-law. I mean, I guess it's the least I can do. Okay. He's got my vote. This will be the third time. So
thank you.
So I'm excited about that. But how much do you get disenfranchised at all when you see the hypocrisy? And it's not even a side thing. I just break it down to this election. This is how I've broken it down. You have two choices. You can vote for a man that can stand trial, or you can vote for a man who's unfit to stand trial. And that's the way I pretty much look at it. Would you agree if that's an accurate statement at this point? If you just cut all the narratives out, I think it just comes down to that simple, isn't it? Is it? And hey, feel free, it's yours if you want it. But I'm just putting it up there. I feel like, is it that basic? Is it that simple?
I think so, and I think it's maybe even more basic than that, which is just that people want their lives back, Tyrus. And I think there's so many people who really bought the hype about Donald Trump. Maybe even, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, and they said, I can't vote for this guy. They say he's bad. They say he's X, Y, or Z. I don't like his personality. I don't like his tweets. And they fell for it. And now they're being punished on the other side of it by everything that's happening that's gone wrong in our country. And you can trace it back to one person, Joe Biden, and all of the decisions he has made. His first day in office, he did things like shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline. We know how that impacted our energy here in America, gas prices through the roof, inflation continuing to go up. It allowed countries like Russia to invade Ukraine, Iran to fund Hamas to invade Israel and cause all the atrocities over there. He also, did things just to say I reversed Donald Trump's policies, like opening up the border. And so people's lives are worse off now than they were when Donald Trump was in office. So I think at the very basic of everything, people are like, I can't afford to vote for Joe Biden again. My life cannot be sustained another 4 years in this direction if this is how we're going. And they don't care that Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felonies. Everyone knows what a hot bunch of garbage that is, and that it would have never happened to any other person aside from Donald Trump. They just want a person they know will go in there and fight for what is going to happen in this country that'll make their life better. And you can't, there's no competition. You can compare two presidents and two presidencies, and everybody knows that things were going better for their lives, for our country, and really for the world when Donald Trump was in office. So yeah, you got to take the person who's fit to stand trial. It's Donald Trump, who can stand trial and did, regardless of the fact that he shouldn't have even been there.
I think you put the hammer on the nail. I think the biggest, most dangerous decision that happened to this country was when the first thing he did was he shut down that pipeline. Because what he effectively did was he made Saudi Arabia a super player, China one step closer to the global market. And people will be like, well, how do you figure that? Because when America controlled the oil prices, we controlled, that was the leash on Russia. That was what kept China dependent on us. And that's what made Saudi Arabia behave. They would damn sure not miss a handshake with President Trump. They wouldn't have done pulled any of that shit, because he'd be like, oh, for real? Guess what? I'm going to drop the prices of oil. Let's go $8. Let's see how that goes for a while, because he who controls the oil controls the world. And the first thing that was done, and Russia's not invading anybody when they don't have the finances to do it. And they didn't have the finances under President Trump because we, one, didn't buy oil. We didn't need it. We're self-contained. And two, everyone wanted to buy ours. And so we set the price. He who sets the price of oil runs this country. And listen, I didn't pass the bar. I graduated from a teacher's college. Be average. Okay, but some of those classes effectively there was some basket weaving and some dance classes in there, just to keep the numbers up. But as a regular Joe American, in terms of like coming up and learning about politics and stuff, that's pretty easy to fall behind.
It's common sense.
Yes.
It's common sense, Tyrus. That's the problem, is that there is no common sense that is justifying anything going on out there. It is all about, these woke initiatives. It's all virtue signaling, identity politics. None of it at the end of the day has any grounding in common sense, and people are desperate to get back to some semblance of common sense, things that they can say, oh, I understand why you did that. Nobody knows why we're doing so many of the crazy things that we're doing as a country right now, except just to say we did them and add another flag to the roster to hang out in front of the White House. It's crazy.
Well, I think this administration, I describe it as the feelings administration, because they felt like he had to do something wrong, and they were able to probably get the first feelings conviction in the history of the world. But at the same time, I also think they punched another ticket. I think they punched his ticket to the White House, because I think a lot of Americans saw that this will get beat on an appeal like that. I mean,
for sure.
They put all their eggs in their one basket just for the magic word of saying convicted felon. That's all. And I think Biden broke it out. President Biden broke it out. I think his last little speech he had or whatever. And I was proud of him, because he didn't have to, he only had to say it once.
Wow.
Usually whenever
good for him.
Speaks,
it must have only been written in the teleprompter one time.
No. Like when he talked trash to the president. Now listen, one of the reasons. Now here's the funny thing, because you talk about how much they hate. They're on to him. They go after you guys. Do you know that everyone loved President Trump before he got into politics? And it was the right. Yeah, before that he was in movies as himself. You know how hard that is to do? Right. And I'm obviously they're going to take Home Alone 2 off the Christmas movie list because now I'm sure it's an oppressive white nationalistic movie because President Trump was in the movie as himself. And nobody was in the movie theater going, who's that? Like, he was that loved.
They knew.
I often pose this question. Do you think if he would have gone down the escalator, let me take you back in the time machine. He's going down the escalator, and when he gets to the bottom, he says, I'm running for the Democratic Party. Do you think this level of, because the Republicans, we don't know how to, we don't know feelings. We'll just fact stuff, but we don't do feelings. They would, you think they would, I still think he would have been president. If he would have ran as Democrat, I still think he would have won. But they would have loved him more than anything. Do you think it was because he went to the other side? That's where all this comes from? Because I try to find the origin story and everything. Like De Niro, I swear when they were like maybe in high school, Trump got his girlfriend that he had been wanting to ask out, something to that effect. There's usually a woman. There's usually a woman involved in that stuff. So, but like the hate is just, it's such, I feel like it's betrayal. I feel like they're mad he knows them too well.
Yes. Well, it's a couple of things. First of all, I say this all the time when I speak places. Had Donald Trump come down that golden escalator and announced he was running for president as a Democrat, he and our entire family would have been lauded as the next coming of Camelot, like the Kennedys, beloved, embraced, all the things. We all know that, Tyrus. Like, that's obvious. But the problem with Donald Trump is exactly what you said. He knew them too well. He stood to expose them too much. And when he started going out and they had a speech that was written. If you ever noticed, he tucked his speech on June 15, 2015, right in his jacket pocket, never to be seen again. And he just freewheeled it out there. And he was spitting cold, hard facts at them about things like China, about things like the southern border. And when he went off script and started telling people the things that a lot of people were thinking about in the back of their mind, but they were like, we can't actually say these things. They were like, oh my God, not only does this guy stand to expose us, you can't control him either. This is dangerous. We got to shut him down. Let's boycott him. Let's get rid of the ties at Macy's, the whole bit. They thought that they were going to take him down in that very first week after he announced he was running for president. And he punched him back so hard that here we are 9 years later, literally looking at him becoming the 47th president, despite 4 indictments, despite 34 felony count convictions, despite a mugshot, despite it all. But yes, it's because he knew them too well, and that's terrifying to them. And it's the same reason, by the way, they desperately want to keep him out of that White House, because now he knows all those swamp creatures in D.C. too, and they're petrified of what that could mean for them when Donald Trump's back there.
Oh, I think what's really scaring him is that the American people are seeing it. And you know what? We'll take a 3 a.m. tweet at this point. And it'd actually be nice to have a president that when he goes off script, we don't need EMTs to come find him. So, with that, you know what? I know you got a million things going on. I really appreciate you coming on, maintaining with me, just to chat and check on everybody. Family's doing good. You guys are doing great. You got a smile on your face when most people would probably be in a horrible mood. I'm sure your social media life is just amazing with all the hate out there. But I think nothing hurts haters more than
they're
seeing
so nice to us, Tyrus.
After this interview, I'm sure we'll all just be in the hate band together. But come get some, because nothing hurts more than a big, successful smile. So I will end this interview with you keep smiling, because I'm going to keep smiling.
I love it. Thank you, Tyrus. I really appreciate it.
No, and hey, can we get just one? Just one. Just one. Like, people don't realize how jacked you are. Like that, your bicep game is like unreal. Just one. Bam.
Got him?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Enough said. Credits. We out. Thank you so much. That's right.
Bye. Thank you, Tyrus.
Bye. Gun show. Tickets available.
Yeah. You never know. They come out sometimes.
Yeah. Hey. Don't mess with that, Mom.
Thank you, Tyrus. It was awesome to be with you. I appreciate it.
You have a great day.